And so for us, that's really critical, I think, in terms of how we think about why compassion intersects with anti-racism. Um, so fundamentally, we believe that traditional anti-racism, anti-bias programs, they depersonalize racism or bias to just focus on structure. Now, this is a part of a consequence of um, the idea of what racism is to being super personalized and only being limited to maybe race to words or actions of one particular individual and not looking at structure. Um, and so you have this large swing to just looking at structure and say, okay, well, it's only in this kind of depersonalized notion of structure. And while we are going to definitely talk about the role and import of structural racism, what we believe is that we actually, as human beings, we make up the structures, right? We are a part of those structures. And so this is a flaw because we make up the structures we are trying to change. And so our definition of structural racism takes seriously the role in which humans are active agents within these structures, right? That we believe is critically important. Secondly, we believe anti-racism work causes us to be reactive. It's really difficult. It's really draining, and it brings up all kinds of emotions. And so we have to have the tools to mine the wisdom of these reactivities. And we do believe that those reactive emotions have kernels of wisdom within them. Again, as Seth mentioned, compassion is at the core of Jesus's ministry of anti-oppression. This is a part of, we believe, what Jesus calls us to do and who we are called to be and become in the ways in which he reflects the Imago Dei. And lastly, as Christians, as people of faith, we believe that we have a vocational responsibility to love God and love neighbor as we love ourselves. And the gravity of this greatest commandment of loving God and loving neighbor and loving ourselves often gets overlooked because when you actually read it in its entirety, what you see is that our capacity to love others, our capacity to love our neighbor is deeply tied to our capacity to love ourselves, right? The ability we have to love not only the parts of ourselves that we like, but the parts of ourselves that we know need to improve, the parts of ourselves we don't like, our own insecurities, right? So as you will see as we move forward, we believe fundamental to the aspect of anti-racism involves a kind of self-compassion that moves outward towards the other in order to see them in their full humanness as God has called them to be. And this indeed is a risk, right? It is a risk in this country today to see others as full human beings, right? To see them beyond the binaries we've created around sexuality or around race or around ability, but to see them as the beautiful person that they are. This takes a kind of courage at times to stand up against the systems and institutions that would deem otherwise. And so this, for us, is the courage that we believe we are going to try to help you give some tools today to be able to foster in your own particular communities.